have recently made some pretty big requests to the universe, and holy smokes, it feels like reality is rearranging itself to shape me into the person and to shape my character into the version of me who can essentially handle the bigger things that I am asking for in both my business, my love life, my health. And it's really interesting to observe because a lot of times when people ask for things like I want more money, or I want love in my life, I want to be healthier, those are usually the big three, like, money, health, and relationships. When they ask for things, there's like this desire to want the thing without computing that what needs to happen for you to have the thing. And what I mean by that is this. When we want to be someone that is more expansive, more evolved, has more, is more than who we currently are, what that means is that we need to grow. And for us to grow into the next level of where we are desiring to step into, what that means is that there is a period where we are going to inevitably need to be uncomfortable, because for you to grow, it means you need to step outside of your comfort zone, and you've got to go into the unknown. You need to break past patterns, and you need to break the habit of being you in the past and break that and step into the now, and aka the future, as a new version of yourself. Otherwise, the change won't work because you're just copying and pasting the past into the future. And so by definition of you needing to grow, you're going to need to get uncomfortable. And what that means is you need to learn how to step into the unknown. There's no way around it. And if you're going to focus on getting better at anything, get better at being in the unknown and expanding your capacity to be in the unknown. Because as you step beyond the threshold that was your former self into this new level that you are calling in, there are going to be things that fall apart, people that you no longer resonate with, friction and issues that you might face with team members, with your business, in your personal relationships, like things, there's going to be friction because you're stepping into a new vibrational frequency, which means you're no longer a match for the things that were previously holding you back. And if you're no longer a match for the things that were previously holding you back, you've got to let them go so that you can grow, so you can expand. Otherwise, they're going to keep you contracted, which is not the vibe. The vibe is you stepping into that new vibrational frequency and thinking, acting, and behaving as that version of yourself that you're calling from the future into the now. And so when you inevitably find yourself in these sticky situations or facing this friction that is being called in by the virtue of your own growth, the question to ask yourself is, who do you want to be? And how do you want to respond? Do you want to react in your old ways of doing? Because if you react in your old ways of doing, all you're going to do is produce the same or similar event into the future, which is not what you're going for. Or are you going to choose to break your subconscious patterns, break your old ways of being, and step into this same situation as a new version of you, and to show up as that version and make decisions as that version? And that is how things will change moving forward. And on a personal note, I have been uncomfortable many, many times in the past couple of weeks because of the level of changes that I'm calling into my life and the shifts that I'm desiring in love, money, relationships, you name it. I called in some really big changes for myself this year. And in the midst of the human self that says, oh my God, I'm uncomfortable, I'm irritated, I'm triggered, I'm frustrated, there's this constant coming back to my higher soul purpose and coming back to the higher perspective of things and understanding, okay, life is not happening to me, it's happening for me. I'm the creator of my life. So if I called in new shifts and new changes, then that means that whatever is happening, it's happening for me so that I can become the person that can handle those kind of changes and expand into the next level of what I'm calling in. And if that's the case, how do I choose to show up differently? And asking yourself that question is a freaking game changer to how you handle the situation. And not only that, another huge lesson that came through for me, which I'm going to be talking more thoroughly about in the podcast, is that when you're changing, evolving, and growing, you need to be okay with being misunderstood. And you need to be okay with knowing that people who knew you, or the circumstances that you were previously in, the social groups that you were previously in, or whatever, as you change and you evolve, some people are not going to be okay with it. Some people are going to want you to stay exactly the same. They're going to want you to stay small because it's comfortable for them. Because if you change, if you grow, it means they need to also be challenged to grow. And not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to opt into that. Some people are perfectly happy staying just as they are in this level, and that's okay. But can you be okay with pissing some people off, with being misunderstood, and with other people's perspectives not matching your own perspective of reality? And honestly, for me, that has been the most difficult part of growth and allowing myself to expand unapologetically, is pissing people off. And the people pleaser me just screams inside. But knowing that that's one of the subconscious patterns that I need to break through, is understanding that I cannot please everyone. And it's really interesting because I think back to all the times that I judged people on the internet, or famous people, or people that, were bigger than me in my industry or other industries, all of the freaking times I judged them. And now I feel so humbled because I have so much compassion for all the people that I judged and that I watch other people judge, because they're changing, they're shifting, and the people who are watching are not okay with it. And so therefore they have this feeling of needing to project onto that person because they don't approve of who this person's becoming, when the truth is, it's none of your business. In the moments when I'm feeling overwhelmed by this, or start to get lost, I just come down to this principle that we all deserve peace, and we all deserve to be authentically who we are, like who our soul is here to be in its fullest of expression. And that is going to inevitably entail growth and evolution, and that is inevitably going to be different from what someone else's version of what is okay and what isn't okay is. Like, we're all unique, and as long as we're not harming anyone, as long as we're truly authentically can say, like, hand on our heart, I'm walking my heart's path, I am in my truth, who the F cares what anyone else is doing? And so what I ultimately come back to is, if I'm in my heart and I know I can say, hand on my heart, I'm in integrity with myself and I am in my soul's purpose and I'm not harming anyone, then what I'm doing is perfectly fine, and the way I'm growing is perfectly fine as well. I felt it in my heart to share this because it's something that is really present for me personally at the moment, and I know it's something that I am constantly coaching my clients through, because they're these high-performing, amazing, successful people who have so many gifts to share in the world, and they don't, because they're afraid of what other people are going to say, or they're literally afraid to grow, either consciously or subconsciously, because God forbid, if they grow, they'll be abandoned, and then it'll trigger that wound, or they won't be loved, and it'll trigger that wound, or they'll feel unworthy, and it'll trigger that wound. And that's why it's so important to do our personal healing, to do our personal work, to learn how to manage our emotions, because if we don't, we get hijacked by our own trauma and subconscious patterning, and then we don't grow to become the full expression of who we're here to be. And so I wanted to share that because I'm going through it too. And part of the reason why I can help people through it is because of the many amount of times I've gone through this cycle and come out good on the other side. If this resonates with you, then please share and let me know in the comment box. And also, if this is something that you want to go deeper into, I did record a podcast episode recently called Influence, Income, Impact, and then there's the fourth I, which I won't do, spoiler alert here, but you definitely want to go ahead and listen to that. The link is in my bio. It's called, or you can search Apple Podcast, It's Not What You Think, and I'm gonna do a whole freaking breakdown on what it really means to grow and to define your own version of success so that it's truly authentically yours. So yeah, thanks for listening, for those of you who stuck around, and until the next inspired rant.